stuff. Good morning, all, and welcome to the Aviation Wealth Club session number 28. Here we are. It is the 16th of September 2025, and we are heading very fast into the last quarter of the year. I thought about it yesterday, being the 15th of September. 3 months takes us to the 15th of December, when I think we can all honestly say that nothing much gets done after the 15th of December. So, in fact, we are exactly 3 months away for the rest of the working year. Except for guys like Rob, who work 24/7, 365. The rest of us at least get to take a holiday from the 15th of December. Isn't that right?
Wouldn't know what we're talking about. Make more money, David. That's all I can say.
Make more money. Very nice. In fact, last night I was just doodling on my book while I was waiting for my computer to load on a quote, and I just wrote there, "I love business." And I thought, where did that come from? I mean, people say I love flying or whatever. I'm like, no, I love business. So there you have it. Anyway, sharing aside, this is the Aviation Wealth Club. We have 3 exclusive pillars. We have events, we have business acceleration, mind-blowing content from Rob Yates on a weekly basis. We've got niche investments, which is aviation and wealth advice, where I pull back the curtain on ordinary and the not so ordinary investments and retirement and wealth planning. This week we're continuing with the business acceleration session from Rob Yates, our elite performance coach. And I just wanted to remind everybody that the investment that you've made in the Aviation Wealth Club, we've calculated the value stack of physical value that you get back as 160,000 Rand. And if we include the coaching sessions and all the other different things that we also throw into this Aviation Wealth Club, the value stack comes to about 380,000 Rand per person per year that you get from this Aviation Wealth Club. So congratulations on making this investment in yourself and getting all of that value right back, plus more, because we can't even calculate the value that JJ's generating in his business by all the new contracts that he's working on, Francois' new clients that he's getting, all of those things that Christoph and his business is doing. So all of those things can run right into the millions. So well done on doing that for yourselves. I'd like to welcome all our members, and I would like us to share a little bit about something that we've won at in the last 7 days. Who wants to share with a big win for themselves?
Me.
Please go for it, JJ.
So I've recently started a little project with Easy Cockpit with Andrea to put weather cams at as many of the airfields as possible. So we've sent our first one down to Ermelo at the Drakensberg, and hopefully that is being installed today, so that we can see what the weather looks like before we fly down there. And spoken to Witbank already, spoken to guys at the Vol Dam, so the rest are following, and it looks like it's going to be a nice project. And the plus would be, if they really need us to, and if we can't just send it down, then we will fly down there and do the install for them.
Beautiful. I'd like to learn more about that, JJ, and how the internet and the connection and all that stays alive. How does that work?
So we provide a little LTE router. So obviously with the area, we'll go and do a coverage map, or check on the coverage map with MTN, Vodacom, and Telkom, and so forth, and see which service provider is in the area strong enough. And all it really does is every 5 minutes, it sends an image, a little picture, up to the server. So it's not a physical live that you can see the windsock blowing and that type of things, but every 5 minutes it creates a little reel to be able to see what the weather is doing.
Excellent. So improving safety and giving more pilots better excuses to fly more to different destinations. I love it.
Yeah, and saving time. I mean, if you want to fly somewhere, and or let's say you want to go to your airfield, you quickly check on the app what the weather is like. You see what. Oh no, hang on a second. It's misty. Okay, well, let me not go now. Let me do something else instead of going there, waiting an hour, doing nothing. So you can do something productive before you actually go down there.
Beautiful. And will you share the link to the app, please, that we can all download it and have a look?
I shall do so.
And I wonder if there's a marketing opportunity within that app and on those images to maybe put
yeah. So on the
on there.
image, you can actually go and put a logo. So Easy Cockpit normally puts their stuff on there, Aviation Direct, because they manage the back end of it. But I'm sure we can speak to Andrea and organize something, because ultimately it's costing her some bucks to host the service. And if anyone, she doesn't actually charge for the hosting side of it. So for any business to come in and sort of financially support it, will make it easier for her. And yeah, I'll give it a shot. Yeah.
Lovely. We would love to explore options there. Nice. Francois, Rob, how were your weeks and what did you win at?
Go on, Francois. Now we know you've got a heartbeat. You can go first.
Yeah, so I've passed my medical this yesterday, so that's great, and everything is I'm healthy, so grateful for that. And then the other thing is, last week the company I work for, that I'm an agent for, they asked me to do a presentation for the younger guys, just sharing a week in my life, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, and so forth. So I presented to about 25, 30 guys there last week, and that was quite a first for me, and it was really, really nice to do it.
Excellent. Did you tell them about your flying?
A little bit, not too much, but I did, like we talked, I've shared that. So I did, but nobody else is flying yet. So hopefully soon there'll be new pilots.
Yeah, and also that's your competitive edge. So you don't want to give too much away there,
Definitely.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, well done, Francois. Rob, how about you?
So I started my national speaking tour on first event on Saturday, which was very cool. But the coolest event is we got invited into a very large township in south of Durban called Ermelo, and went in there to a pastor's home. He said he lived on the outskirts on the outside of the township, and we had to drive 7 kilometers into it. So I don't know how big the place is, but that's far. And spoke to a small group of entrepreneurs and church leaders, and I had a realization, in going there. We've been invited to go back in February, do a 2-day seminar, and he's talking about 1,000+ people. That's the first thing. That's pretty huge. But secondly, there were some business owners in the room. Very switched on, very articulate, very, very business aware. B, a couple of them I spoke to are probably going to become Kingdompreneur clients. They knew their business numbers. They're fully registered, SARS, tax, the whole ethical business structure, all that stuff. But they knew their business numbers better than pretty much any other. I'm not knocking anybody here, but no. Last year I did 4.4 million rand. Gross was 47%. Net was 32%. I made 1.5 million rand profit plus minus, or I can't remember the exact numbers last year, but they were like, bum. Every month we turn over this, we do this, we net that. Like they knew it all, and that just popped a really big bias from me that often we would drive past an Ermelo and go, no business, no opportunity, not a lot going on in there for me. And I would have done, in fairness, and only to find exactly the opposite.
How's that, eh?
And it's just set my brain going as to, and the win is like, how many more Umlazes are there in South Africa? How many more of those opportunities are there? You know, and the perception of what we believe to be true probably isn't true. We all know that the largest quantity of cash in South Africa sits with the unbanked in townships and in locations and in the population that don't have bank accounts. But then there's a bunch of people in that population who does have bank accounts and are doing pretty cool things and have engineering businesses, or one guy's got a software developing business, and who are actually making really good money. And I think it's not a story about South Africa that's told very often.
Nice. I love it.
So I wanted to tell the story because I think all of us in business drive past opportunity every day and think there's no opportunity.
And it's right under our noses.
It's right in front of us. Yeah. It's right in front of us. There's 50-year-old guys out there who live in a township because they were born in the township and live there their entire life, making 20, 30, 40, 50 million rand a year legally.
Wow. That's yeah.
And everybody just drives past them and ignores them in the, let's call it, I won't be racist, but like the white middle class South African business world. And yet they're there. Their hunger, what was really interesting, their hunger for and gratitude for me taking the time to go in there was mind-blowingly large. Because I think it's because they get ignored so much. Anyway, that is my win and my learning of this last week.
I love it, Rob. Well done. Very nice. My win is that I got to fly on Friday afternoon and on Saturday morning earlier last week, and JJ came and picked me up, my very own charter service from Rhino Park Airfield. We flew down to Tedderfield where we picked up a young man called Enkelbed. You heard that right. His name is Enkelbed, and a very cool young fellow in matric, massive interest in aviation, and JJ is kind of taking him under his wing by exposing him to more aviation related events. So we took him to the Silver Creek Pancake Fly-In, which was a massive success and a huge amount of fun. Met a bunch of really cool guys, and I had a lot of fun. JJ, I just wanted to show you that I went and I got myself some of these. No, that's not an artificial insemination packet. What it is it's a bath bag, and I had to use one of these in JJ's aeroplane, and I'd never seen one before, and this thing creates quite a neat seal straight over your mouth. And so if you ever struggle with air sickness or motion sickness, please invest in some of these. JJ, I've got a whole stack of them over here, so I'll come and replace the one I used in your airplane. All right, and I'll be sure to bring them with me again. Okay.
So two things. So the first thing is you've found a new product and you've invested, and the second thing is, did you manage to keep it down the second round?
Yeah. I did.
What was happening to make you that airsick?
So two things. I've only got an hour of endurance. So as soon as I get in that airplane, then we take off, the clock starts ticking. And if we don't land within an hour, my vestibular system rejects the environment and my stomach contents. And it's some flights are better than others, but Friday was very windy and very quite warm, quite hot, and very hazy as well. And it was all those combination of factors just wasn't working for me. And it was only on the second flight. And so we landed at Tedderfield, which is in the south of Joburg, and then we flew directly to Silver Creek, which is near Rustenburg. And I think it was 3.5 minutes before we landed, JJ, that eventually it was just like, no more for my tummy, and that was it. I must say, I felt a hell of a lot better afterwards, and probably could have flown for another hour after that. So.
Now you
It
tell
was a lot of fun.
Now you tell me.
But with the amount of little bath bags you've invested there, it means that you haven't been scared of flying. So you're
Not at all.
investing properly, eh?
Yeah. No. This is a pack of 10, 150
Excellent.
bucks. I got them on Take A Lot. You said you got yours on Temu, so I just wanted to check if Take A Lot also had them, which they do. Anyway,
Yeah, no,
very
it was windy beyond, eh? No, we were bumped around like a little leaf in the sky there. Yo.
Wasn't the worst turbulence I've ever had, but just that constant banging around, and it wasn't great for me. But anyway, I recovered nicely, so all good then.
Excellent. Correct.
Yeah, and it was a great fly-in, and then we actually flew back to Kitty Hawk Airfield back here in Pretoria, and on the Saturday morning for the RV fly-in, which wasn't as well supported as the Silver Creek one, but still a good event either way. So, and then we watched the Springboks annihilate the All Blacks. I mean, what a flippin' amazing morning! Yeah. So those were my wins. That, and I'm also on my way to my best month ever again. So there's that thing as well.
Another one.
Things are getting good.
You must have had. Was it 5 years now? You and I have been hanging out, David. You must be on 20 or 25 best months ever in the last 5 years.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. A lot. I think last year, or was it 2023? I had 6 in a row. Like bang, 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 bang. But last year was very good, but this year has been by far my best year ever so far. So all comes down to good coaching, I think.
Wouldn't know anything about it.
All right, upcoming events. We've got the Speed Rally finale on the 27th of September. That's not this Saturday, it's next Saturday. It's happening at Heidelberg Airfield. We definitely want to see you there. There'll be special treatment and VIP treatment for Aviation Wealth Club guests and members. And then, of course, we've got the Cape Town Safety Symposium on the 6th of November. The registrations are really rolling in very nicely for that event. We've got some good sponsors already. It's going to be live streamed. We've got photography sponsors as well. We've got wine sponsors for it. We've got Fuselage Wines that's going to be giving the whole entire event wine. So it's really looking nice and good for that. We've got Wonderboom Safety Symposium coming up on the 2nd of December. And for both of those events, I've got the Wonderboom Safety Symposium speakers are already lined up. We should be getting a good amount of sponsorship in as well. Just a reminder there that as an Aviation Wealth Club member, you'll be able to get your platinum and gold sponsorship packages from the safety symposiums at 50% off. So if you're keen to promote your brand, please get in touch and we will be able to promote it really nicely at those events, which have over 200 people at them every time. Okay, what are we getting into today? One quick question. Who told us last week? Francois, why did you show up today?
Just to learn more, and I'm really interested in the business side of things, and looking forward to the day.
Love it. All right, Rob Yates, Business Acceleration, where we have powerful, practical lessons in scaling a business through leadership, all leading to revenue growth, which we can use to buy more avgas and new aeroplanes. Tell us, Rob, what have you got in store for us today?
Today is simple. And what I'd like to do today is I'd like us to have a conversation. We looked last week, if I can go and find the right thing. We looked last week, doesn't matter, at the 4 lead getters and the four get lead, how to get leads and the lead getters, right? That's what we looked at last week. And I want us to focus in today on one of those bunches, because one of the lead getters is our customers, our current customers. And I want to talk a little bit about how we get them to get us referrals, make great introductions to us, so on and so forth. Because we've all got so much gold in the hill of our customers, and we've just got to be better at mining it, but equally mining it without coming across as I'm sorry, David, but the usual insurance broker who sits there and says, I've done your car insurance, can you tell me 3 friends I could call to go and sell them car insurance? Right? And I don't know about you, but whenever I end up in that circumstance, I always want to punch the human being. I'm like, no, I don't want to tell you anybody, and I don't want to share it. And if you dare call anybody I know, I'll have to hit you.
That hasn't happened to me for a while, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, you might gather that I feel quite strongly about that. And so I wanted just to talk about that, and I've got some suggestions and a bit of a process and a bit of a thought, but then I'd also like to know, what is it that you do? What is it that you've tried and it's not worked, but what are you trying and it is starting to work, even if it's just a little bit? Because the more repeatable patterns we have, the more often we can get that referral going. And we all know that our referrals are our easiest sales. Right, that we all know that that's to be the truth. It's the least amount of work, person most likely to buy at a great price point, is going to be the easiest to get across the line, and there's all sorts of reasons for that. So that's where I want to play with what I want to play with today. And so I don't have a presentation. I just have like a monologue for you, and I'd like just to ask you to take some notes. The first thing I want to mention is we have to earn the referral or earn the introduction, right? And the myth in most industries is, by the fact of you selling somebody your product, that is earning the introduction, and it's really not, right? Because earning the introduction is doing something from you that they're not expecting to get. Right, that's the earning part. So if I meet David, and I invest some money with David, and I take out life insurance, right? Sorry, David, you're going to be my guinea pig for today. Well, is the product going to be great? Yes. Is he going to give great advice? Yes. But he should do. He's a financial advisor. That's his job, right? But equally, as a smart human being, I'm well aware that there's 110,000 qualified financial advisors in South Africa. That is the actual number, by the way. There's 110,000 qualified financial advisors in South Africa, many of whom can access the same products, many of whom can give great financial advice. I'm not a pilot, so loss of license isn't really that relevant to me. And so we've got to do something beyond here's the product and great experience as earning the right to get the introduction or the referral. I think that's the first thing, something beyond that, something that's unexpected. I'll share with you what I do in a minute. So the first thing is we have to earn it. The second thing is you've got to ensure that the customer, that the experience you've given the customer is one that they want to introduce their friend to. So if your customer has felt awkward or squirmish or oversold to, or like they've been a lemon that just hasn't been squeezed, it's been pounded with a sledgehammer to get all the money out of it, right? And they feel bruised by the experience. When you look to get introductions and referrals or whatever else from people, what's going on in their mind is actually, am I willing to subject my friend or my aunt or my colleague to this experience? Right, so that's the other thing. So if our experience from the customer's perspective, not how wonderful we think we are, but are we demonstrating greed? Are we overselling? So on and so forth. If any of those things make the customer buy but feel weird inside, the quality of referral drops dramatically. And so often we're better off not squeezing the lemon so hard that it hurts the lemon, because we're better off having a lemon that's 95% squeezed, 5% juice left, and getting 3 referrals, which we can squeeze at 95%, than we are squeezing the lemon to 110% and then getting no decent referrals. So we've got to think about our customer experience from their perspective. I think the other thing is to be very aware of who's in your customer's network before you even start thinking about referrals. And something that I do, and I've done it with all of you, is go into people's LinkedIn profiles and Facebook profiles and go and see who they're connected to. Right? Or in Francois' case, look at the farms within 40 kilometers. Like what's the farming community they're a part of? The local farmers association. Know who it is that they're connected to, because if we're going to ask for an introduction, a specific introduction always gets us more traction than a vague introduction. If I was to say, hey, David, do you know of a pilot that would like business coaching and has a business? He could introduce me to 1,000,001 people. He could introduce me to a billionaire. He could introduce me to a broke business owner who's currently selling their plane. But if I say, hey, David, I see you know JJ Lagrange. I'd love to meet him one day. David's got one thought process to go through. Okay, cool. Like, how do I introduce Rob to JJ? How possible is that? And so knowing who it is that we want to be introduced to is of exceptional value. Before I go into a process that I run, are there any more underpinning things that any of you think, do, or consider in terms of preparing the client to be able to introduce people to you? JJ, go for it.
So I don't go to the customer with the intent to go and get a specific referral. I think the focus for me is to make sure that I service the customer the best I possibly can so that the referral would come naturally. I want to be the guy that they talk about when they stand around the braai and they talk, complain about whoever's got some issues. And they say, but hang on a second, I don't have any issues. I'm going to introduce you to JJ because yes, like this guy sorted out whatever issues and he's efficient and that type of things. So I don't specifically look for referrals. What I think I can add on is to go and stalk the customer on social media and find out who they connected to. That's a good thing. I've never done that before. And then sort of go into a conversation about that specifically. But the normal process for me is do what I do best and let the rest automatically happen.
Cool. A great thing, by the way, that we should all be doing. We should all be becoming friends with our clients on Facebook, and we should all be becoming, what do you call it on LinkedIn?
Connected.
Connected, that's the word, not follows, connected on LinkedIn. Because it gives us, A, we become aware about who they know, and B, it's a wonderful conversation. Oh, I was on Facebook the other day, and I see that you're friends with, I'd like to meet them one day. If you're friends, they kind of know that you've got access to who they're friends with, right? It's like there's the unwritten social rules of norms, shall we say. And that gives us a great way to have the conversation. What I notice is many people resist having their clients as actual friends on Facebook or actually connecting with their clients, and it's of the utmost importance. David, who owns the business in France that I own shares in, David Poole, he's friends with literally a couple of thousand people in his niche on Facebook. He makes about $500,000 a year just out of Facebook, just out of who he's friends with on Facebook. And so we shouldn't run away from that. We should actually embrace it if we want to grow our business. Francois, you've unmuted yourself. What's going on what's for you?
Yeah, so the first point that you mentioned in the referral, so we've got a saying in our company, earn your customer's business every day. So just to connect to that, also what stood out for me here is to do the unexpected for the client. Do something that nobody else is doing for the client. We have to little brainstorm. Our service is great, and all the other stuff we do is great, I think. So, but we must brainstorm a little bit on that's applicable to me on the unexpected for the customer.
If you think about it, there's an expected transactional level of business that is just expected to happen, right? Francois sells fertilizer or seed. It costs this much. I give Francois money. Francois gives me seed, fertilizer, whatever it may well be. That's the expected transaction level, and it's expected that the servicing is good, it's on time, it's punctual, it's professional, it's smiley, whatever else. That's all the expected norm. And then what we're now asking the customer to do is to go above the level of norm, above the level of the transaction. And we're asking for them to transform our business by introducing new potential customers into our business. That's what we're asking or expecting of or hoping from them, right? And so if we're asking for them to transform our world, and 3 extra hot referrals is a transformation for our world, we have to consider, what am I doing beyond the transaction to transform their world?
Yeah, that is quite an interesting statement, Rob. That's something that you must do to separate you from all the other guys you're competing.
And I don't think it doesn't have to cost money or time, or if it does cost money, it's not very much. I'm frequently in places and I'm like, well, hey, I'm there tomorrow night. Let's have dinner. It doesn't have to cost, huge. We're not talking about huge, extravagant gestures. It's actually just being a great human being, I think. In addition to being a great professional, I think you put those 2 things together and it works nicely. David, how do you warm up all of your people to how do you go above the transaction into the transformation?
I ask them, I show genuine interest in who they are and what they do. And if I've got a business client or a client who's a business person, I'll ask them, who's your favorite customer? Like, who's your favorite person to work with as a customer? And then I learn about who that person is. And then I try and figure out in my connections and my network, who is like that person, that customer. And I try and figure out if I've got someone that's like a similar avatar to that. And then I say to him, well, wouldn't it work if I introduced you to this person? Wouldn't your business also transform if, let's say, you've got, the head of Bidvest is your best client, and I know the head of Supergroup on this side, and maybe I can say, well, if Bidvest is working for you very well, maybe I can introduce you to the head of Supergroup. That might also help your business. And just by doing that, it creates obviously a lot of goodwill, and even if it creates a lot of goodwill. It creates a lot of reciprocity as well, and in that way, hopefully, the transformation gets given back to me in some way. Yeah.
So that interestingly feeds right into where I was going to go to next, which is you've got to teach your customer how to best introduce you, right? People really don't know, and this might seem ridiculous, but people really don't know how to introduce you. They might know how verbally. Oh, you should meet JJ because he's a great human being, and then it stops. Right? So they often can do the verbal, but he's a great human being and he solved all the tech problems in my business. It's incredible. Stop. Right? It reaches a brick wall. And so you've got to get, if that's the what, you've got to get into, you've got to teach your customer the how to refer you or introduce you. And so I'm going to take you through now what I do, and then I'm just curious about like what could you do, what do you do, so on and so forth. And so when I first meet a customer, even if they don't become a customer, interestingly, I do exactly what David said, which is I try and find out who I can introduce them to that will bring value to their world. This could be a chiropractor because their back sore, right? It could be that their child's struggling and they need to see a psychologist, and I could introduce them to my wife. I mean, it could be anything. Marketer, anything, insurance person, anything.
Yesterday, I gave my client who drives a Volvo my Volvo specialist's mechanics number.
That's it. It could be anything. So it could be something in aviation. It doesn't really matter. It's just something that's of real use to them, to their world, outside of outside of what you do and this conversation you're having. So one of the best versions of this that I've ever done is I don't know them now, but I used to know the admissions clerk at St Andrew's Girls' School in Joburg, round on the east of Joburg, and at St Scythian's. And lots of parents leave it to lastminute.com to get their kids into one of those schools. And then the kids, the traditional answer is, we're full, we don't have any space, blah, 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 blah. Twice now, I've got very high value one-to-one clients and in referrals, simply off introducing said person to the admissions clerk and saying, don't go through the usual channels, just speak to this person, here's their phone number, and they'll help. Right? It's made a lot of money. But we need to go into something a bit more structurally beyond that. And so what I do is I find out the who I can introduce them to that will add real value to their world to solve a real problem that's really causing them some pain right now that I can't solve. Kenneth, my accountant, another great example. And what I do is I put everybody into a WhatsApp group, a three-way WhatsApp group, right? Myself, the potential clients or the actual clients, whichever one they are at that point in time, and the person I'm introducing them to. Everybody goes into a WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group, I do a voice note. Hey, JJ, I just want to introduce you to David LaRue. Based upon what you spoke about, David is a wealth genius for people pilots who fly. And I really think that he's the best in the country, and he's the guy you need to have a coffee with in the next week. David, JJ is a friend I just met. He flies. He'd like to go and invest his money really well. Can you help him, please? And just let me go and have a nice coffee together and see what happens. Right? What I do within this is I actually speak life into both humans. JJ's incredible. David's incredible. JJ's incredible. David, you're both going to be incredible together. I'm doing all this strategically because that's exactly the referral that I want my client to do for me one day. So I'm showing them that the best way to introduce me is actually a three-way WhatsApp group. This is true for all of your businesses, by the way, with a voice note that speaks life into both human beings. I'm going to tell you now, over emails, written messages in WhatsApp groups or just giving phone numbers, this strategy works literally hundreds of % better than anything else. Right? Because you actually get a testimonial. Yeah, I kind of gave a testimonial, didn't I, as I spoke? A testimonial to JJ, how wonderful JJ is. A testimonial to David about how wonderful David is. And you get to hear it in my voice. Now play it back. If JJ got a referral, it could be from and he'd done the same. Or if JJ was to refer somebody to me, hi David, I just want to introduce you to Rob Yates. He's the best business coach in South Africa. I've worked with him for 6 months. He's done this and this to my business. Rob, David does this and this and this. When I now go and have this conversation with David in this meeting, we're already best mates. We've already got JJ who thinks we're both awesome. And David's already sold on the fact that actually this is a really sensible thing for me to be doing. What all of this allows me to do is then when I've done this introduction and I do it in the meeting with the client there, I show them what I do. I'm just going to introduce you now, blah, 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 WhatsApp group, phone numbers, voice notes. And then I smile at them, wink and say, if ever you want somebody to introduce to me somebody, this is a really good way of doing it. Now I've waffled a lot in that time period. So I just want to like capture this and go, where's your head? What have you picked up? JJ's already like hands up and firing in.
So the one thing that sounds to me that's important is that I need to make sure that my customer, who I want to have me, who I want to refer me, they must understand what I'm about, what my business is about, so that they don't hit the brick wall when they want to do the introduction.
They only need to understand it from their perspective.
Okay.
So you don't want, because one of the problems with referrals is we overtrain the customer in too much detail on what we do, and then they fumble the introduction. And what you want is a heartfelt introduction. Hey George, can I introduce you to JJ? Like I had all of these computer problems in my business, and the software just kept being awkward and being painful. JJ is a superhero. He flies planes. We drink coffee together. Like the guy's just awesome. I know he can help you.
Yeah, the heartfelt introduction like that, and the one that doesn't know the technical bits of your business will always sell the dream outcome of your business and you, which is actually what we want.
And there's what I find is that, and I've tried lots of different mechanisms. So I went through a bit for a year where on the back of a business card, I used to have credit card business cards in that sort of made of plastic. And on one side was me, and on the other side, I had a 20 or 25 word description of me as a coach. And I said, if you want to introduce me, just describe me like this. And in honesty, whenever I heard it or heard anybody say it, it felt like a 5-year-old reading a storybook for the first time. They're like, bleh, bleh, splutter over words. It's all, you can hear that they're speaking verbatim as opposed to speaking from the heart, and it just loses the energy. And so the energy from the heart is what we really, really want. Because ultimately, they're selling your heart, how wonderful human being you are. And even if you meet this customer once, this new customer buys into you, and then you hand them on to somebody else in your team, you're still going to go and sell the person in your team who's going to take them on. You're going to sell that person's heart. I'm now in our process. I'm now going to hand you on to Joseph. And Joseph is this, and Joseph is that, and he's incredible. He does this, this, and this for you. I trust him with my life. I'll be in touch and be following your journey with the business, but like Joseph is your guy. Nobody better in the country. That's why he works for me. And so the same process goes on in that heartfelt introduction. What else do we notice in that little weaving, wandering that we went through just there?
you're actually telling them how you want them to refer you, giving them the answer, filling the gap.
Could I am telling them I'm doing something more important. I'm actually showing them, right? This is the bit where most financial advisors and insurance brokers fall flat on their face, is they ask for the referrals or arm twist people, and yet they haven't done anything in order of showing that this is normal behavior. So if you establish first, this is normal behavior, like us professionals, this is normal. I introduce people to people like this the whole time. This is how business works. My whole career has grown like this. Let me introduce you to some, let me help. Suddenly we establish a new level of normal behavior, and the client's like, well, this is really cool. I now get to do business with JJ, who introduces people to people the whole time. And then they start thinking, well, maybe I can, it's a really cool way of doing business. Maybe I can introduce people like this the whole time. Francois, what did you hear out of this, my friend?
Well, Rob, I would say, yeah, just know that the manner that you introduce people to each other is quite mind-blowing. Yeah, I haven't thought about it like that yet. And yeah, and you can use that, like you said, you can use that with your clients, that they also introduce you. Maybe in my case, clients need something that I don't supply, and yeah, I can, not that, you know, I can introduce them to somebody that can you solve the problem, and do it like you said on the WhatsApp. Do a group and just you know, praise them both. And yeah, and then show them how they can refer me in the future.
Now, what's a really great thing out of this is I often, if possible, I'll refer people. So if I met, I see Franz has just joined us. If I met Franz for the first time, he said, I'm struggling with this and this and blah, but we had a good chat about his life and this, and identify the fact that he needs a chiropractor, right? I will do my level best to find a solution for Franz, and I'll introduce him to the chiropractor who's already a client of mine. What this actually does is it actually adds value now to two parties within my business, right? I introduce Franz to the chiropractor. The chiropractor is a client who now gets a referral and new business through me, and now is a solidified client, but also reminded that this is the game we play. The new client is like, oh my gosh, this is a wonderful, great way of doing business. And how nice is Rob? And how nice is this person here? They actually get to have a positive interaction with my other client, which is a great way of reinforcing doing business with Rob. And actually this ecosystem just feeds itself through generosity and through introducing the right people together at the right time.
I almost want to go one level deeper and to say that once you start doing that well, you actually then start to look for people that are service providers in your life. And obviously everyone's trying to get the best quality service provider. I want the best dentist, the best chiropractor, the best financial advisor, the best. But you kind of don't have the full confidence in a lot of our supply. I know I don't. I mean, some of the suppliers that I use, I'm like, I would never refer that person, but I'm still kind of using them because they're the only one that I know. But I would say that subconsciously, we then start to look for the best one, or look for the best possible qualities in the ones that we do have, to be able to refer them at a later stage. And so you actually like improving the quality of your network just by being interested in understanding that, trying to look for the best qualities of this type of supplier to be able to refer it to your network so that you become more valuable.
Now, the interesting thing is, from my perspective, and it's just a bit of a lived experience, is I don't pay, and neither does my wife, for any accounting services. Nothing, not a sausage, not a cent, nothing. Because of the amount of referrals that I introduced to Kenneth, who is probably one of the country's best accountants, The amount of business that I push his way, he's like, no, Rob, I'm not billing you anymore. I'm not sending you any more invoices. The amount you do for me, Rob, it's all sorted. Don't worry about it. And so there's another level of benefit that comes from playing this game, where actually people start to become very thankful for you, or they start doing more introductions to you because it's a gratitude thing. And so our customers have got huge networks. And when I first met David, it was through a business called the Advisor Business School. And if you think, if over a 2-year period, you could get introduced to 4 or 5 people that a customer knows, let's say 6, 3 a year, just by playing this game. And then those 6 could all introduce you to 6. And then 6 sixes are what? 36. Those 36 could introduce you to another 6, 36, 6 times 36. And you start playing that game out. You actually start to have a controllable, modelable, dependable customer acquisition process from your customers that allows for very, very, very sustainable growth. And so suddenly all of the complexity and the where's the new customers coming from and how am I going to finding them, actually becomes easier and easier and easier for you. And I don't know what the numbers are, but I know that 636s is a lot. Somebody on here has got their calculator out, working that number out for me right now. I know that 6 times that is a lot, and I know that 6 times that is a lot. Right, we're heading the thousands of customers at that point in time. And so this model becomes a controllable within your business. If for every 2 introductions I make, I get 1 great one back. Brilliant. Now we've got an equation we can work on. So now if I want 20 new introductions in my business, I need to go and make 40. Now suddenly we've got in that referral area, we've actually got an accelerator pedal and a brake pedal and a gear stick and a steering wheel, where we actually can drive that in terms of, and then you can start to say, well, for every introduction I get, 20 introductions gets me 10 clients. Cool. And the clients take about 2 months to come on board, 8 weeks. Excellent. Right, as I look at my business pipeline in 8 weeks' time, it's looking a little bit empty. Job today, 40 introductions from my side, 20 come back from the ecosphere, shall we say, 10 initial cups of coffee, that in 8 weeks' time, my business pipeline is full. And so now we've got complete control of this customer source pipeline, and we can do it mathematically. So I'm well aware that I've shared a lot. I'm well aware we've got a few minutes left, and then we all need to go start going and making some money. What I'd like to know is one thing that you really like from what it is that I've shared this morning, and one thing that you think you can just pick up and start doing. Right, to get to know what your numbers are and everything else that you think is new, different, or will be the most valuable first step that you could take, possibly starting at 10:15.
So, Rob, I think the thing is, if you talk to a client, even an old client, listen very well to say like a problem that he has. Not a problem with anything to do with your, your side of the business, and see who you know that you can connect to him to solve the problem. And then put up the WhatsApp on the 3-way WhatsApp and do that. And I would say that was the thing that I would and do something unexpected for the client.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Make a list. Make a list of 5 or 10 clients who you think they would need to be introduced to, and just make the introduction, just out of the blue.
Cool. Thank you, Francois. JJ, what about yourself?
Start digging and checking up who the customers are connected to and who I want them to connect me to.
And then David and I both were in BNI at one point in time, but remember, give us game.
Yeah, so normally what happens with me is so right now what we're doing is we're doing a whole lot of social media marketing and stuff. And the meetings that then come from that, I go and stalk the company. I go and check out their website, go and check where the email's hosted so I can see what opportunities are there and those type of things. So by the time I have the meeting, I've already identified the opportunities that could be there for me. So if their website is not looking so great, during that meeting, I can suggest to them, hey, listen, we have someone that we can refer you to that does websites really great. And if you want to have a look at how that pans out, have a look at our website. Have you not looked at our website yet? Do you understand what we're doing and so forth? These guys did our website and we're quite proud of it. And, off we go.
That's a double win, because then they get to check out your website and you're showing them and you're referring somebody else to them.
That's
Brilliant.
it. It just shows, what Rob says we do listen to sometimes.
As long as I can always tell if you're listening because your business grows. That's it's my litmus test. What most of my sales meetings, especially for my high ticket one-to-one coaching, it normally takes 2, maybe three discovery calls or sales meetings before somebody comes on board. I make it my mission to introduce the person to Kenneth, my accountant, as quickly as humanly possible. Most businesses aren't as tax efficient as they could or should be. And Kenneth is a genius at keeping you legal, but much more efficient than anybody else does. And so I make that introduction, if at all possible, and I've got a few Kenneths, but he's the one I want to talk about now as an accountant. I make that introduction as soon as possible in that first meeting, because I know that Kenneth will go and meet them and say, oh, you've met Rob. Oh, Rob's such a good guy. He's helped me with this. He's helped so-and-so with this. I've got a client like that, blah, 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 blah. One of my clients has 4x their business in the last 12 months working with Rob. When I get to my second meeting with them in a week or 10 days' time, they're sold. Like, I don't need to do anything. It's very much of how much does this cost and when do we start? And this is like this power of building out. We talk about systems and processes in our business. And I think sometimes we don't think about the human engineering we can do to stack all the cards in our favors. David and Franz, and then let's go make some money. What do you guys think?
You go, Franz.
No, you go, David.
No, you go.
No, you.
Look at this. Ba, ba, ba.
How's that?
Boom, baby.
Where's my copy?
There's my
Okay.
copy. So fucking scam alert, right? Scam alert. We bought 10 copies to give away to everyone and resell for cheaper and all that stuff. So the one copy arrives and they're like, oh no, the other 9, here's the code to give it away, and each person needs to pay for their own shipping, which was the whole point of buying like a lot at the same time to get away from the shipping. And the shipping is like, I think it's like $900 or something per book to get it here from the States. So I'm pretty bleak about that, if I'm honest. So now, I mean, for me, I get flights so cheap, it'll literally be cheaper for me to fly to the States, put the books in my bag and bring them back. It will be cheaper than getting them here. So as soon as I can find my fucking passport that be somewhere in this house when we moved, I'm going to the States to go fetch some books. Anyway, but great read. Yeah, great read. I will share this with everyone. I think I don't know how to like copy it. I want to actually just copy the book and make it a PDF, and then I'll share it with everyone. Because he sold enough and he made enough money, and I feel like he got me good, so I'll get him back.
Yeah. Also, he does say that he doesn't want to make money out of the book. He just wants to spread the message. So
So great. Yeah.
anyway, go for it.
How do we do that? Does anyone know how to do that? How to actually
Give it to JJ. He must have a guy.
Yeah, JJ, you got a guy. Come refer me to someone.
He's a tech person.
Digitize the book.
I'm already thinking there's got to be an app that you can just go click on your phone and scan it. PDF.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a PDF you could just download right now on the internet. But just so you do know, and without being any kind of plagiarists here, if you go into Spotify and you go search Alex Hormozi's podcast, he's actually already done the whole audiobook in 9 parts, and I've listened to it twice. So it's there. I'll share the link, in fact.
So yeah, this is definitely the most expensive book I've ever bought in my life. That's for sure. This one book cost me, I think it was 14,500 Rand. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it more than once.
Talk about an investment. That one has to go back in the packaging and seal it and hide it, and only to be seen, never to be touched.
But I got 2 extra ones by getting the bigger thing. And sorry, boys, these I'm not sharing.
Yeah. Love it. Nice one, France.
Excellent. Mr. LaRue, what did you take out of this morning's conversation?
That there is a structured and repeatable method to create more referrals for one's business, and that it can be a reliable source of new customers, and not just and we don't just have to wing it.
Yeah, but it's hard work. You know what the thing is? It's like, it's cool. Chatting about it is cool, but it's like, it's got to be a system. It's got to be ingrained. It's got to be part of your process. It's got to be normal. It's got to be, and I think for most of us, I just talk about myself, especially in the beginning. Now, I don't feel like I'm asking for referrals ever, really. But I think it is so built in that almost from the, and David, you've seen this happen, like almost from the first conversation, I'm like leaving little breadcrumbs, you know, and I use words like, you know, a lot of pilots can benefit from this, and just think about all your friends, you know, and I'll say that very early on, and then I'll like slowly build on it. Like, I don't think I have a client that hasn't sent me a referral. I mean, you know, I don't think so. But a campaign around this, all of us are in business. I mean, all of us do have clients. So it's like maybe an idea, and sorry, I missed the first bit of this, Rob. So I don't know if you said that, but maybe an idea of like a surefire way of actually implementing this and get it into practice is right now when this call's done, sit with a piece of paper, write down even if it's your 5 or your 10, I mean, the longer the list, the better, right? But your 5 best clients, you know who your best clients are. You know which client you could phone right now and have a 2-hour conversation with. So it's that guy. And phone them and say, hey, I just did this amazing workshop with this Rob Yates guy, and he's like empowered me to, I really want to grow my business. And one of the things he said was, we should ask our people who we really like, the clients, and ask them for referrals. So I'm doing that. I'm phoning you for a referral, and like use this as and I think that gets the conversation going quite lucky, and that gets you 10 new clients.
And it works even better if you can go, and I know that you know so and so.
Oh, for sure.
Tell me, could you introduce me to France?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course I can. Then suddenly it becomes more specific. Most people want to introduce you. They don't know physically who, they just know conceptually who. So Rob's introduce me to a random person, but a specific person's even better.
Yeah, specifics. Just personal experience, I've burnt my fingers with specifics. So I don't go in and saying, I want you to introduce me to that guy. Like, because what's happened is like the guy said, oh, okay, well, that guy doesn't do any, he's going to just be pissed off if we do it, and it kind of kills the conversation. So what I do is I'd say, I'd like to introduce you to people, like someone like that. That would be a great person, or instead of going like a bit too hard. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're kind of leaving that back door open a little bit. You're still saying that person. And if they think they're going to be cool with it, they'll do the referral. Anyway, technicalities. Sorry, Rob, sometimes I get a bit technical with these things.
No, it's fine. A lot of it's in the language that we use. And we're very conscious of that.
But there you go. Rob just made you 10 new clients, guys. Smash it.
Yeah, and I think Fran's suggestion is go write down 10 customers who you know have got killer networks and just go and you know a lot about them already. So just go and say, hey, George, I was thinking about you this morning. I remember you said this once. I'd really like to introduce you to so-and-so because I really think that they can help you do X, Y, and Z, solve X, Y, Z problem. And then you've got the opportunity to then go back to them and go, do you know what? I'd really like to meet so-and-so. Can you help me with that? It's like a game of tennis.
I'm going to go one level deeper. I'm going to say, of those 10 clients that you're going to write down now and go and refer, make sure at least 2 or 3 of them are pilots, and explain to them that this whole new method of adding value to their lives and your business, etc., came through the Aviation Wealth Club, and that they should join you on the next meeting at next Tuesday on this meeting.
For free.
Absolutely free.
So we were standing around the Braai Friday evening, and David's there, and there's a youngster, and he says, oh no, in a couple of months I'll come and talk to you. And I said, but why a couple of months? No, my salary is so low, and I'm not really earning anything to really insure and those type of things. And I said to him, but you should do that right now. What if something happens to you while you're standing at this braai, and someone pokes out your eye and you can't fly? That's what you need to insure about.
Exactly right.
And then suddenly this started making him think, and there was the introduction done.
Yeah. And so 2 things happened there. This just came up to me out of the blue and was like, hey, I've seen you and I'm going to be a client of yours in the next couple of months. I was like, awesome. And then JJ and him had this conversation. And then as he finished, someone took a log out of the braai and it exploded. And nearly all of us were blinded by this thing. Almost as if to say, your medical's on the line, buddy. You better insure it now.
I hope he phoned you already.
Yeah, no, it was that was great. Nice. Okay, I think that's it from all of us. I think we can all go and make some money. Thanks very much for joining us today, and congratulations on doing your business this favor. And let's all go get 20 more clients from our 10 best clients that we're going to go and make that list of. All right.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.
Lovely to see you all.
Cheers, folks. Ciao. Bye.
Ciao, bye.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers, Francois.